Madam Clerk, is a quorum present? A quorum being present, the annual town meeting will come to order. To either of the constables of the town of Raynham and the county of Bristol, greeting. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of said town qualified to vote in elections and in town affairs to meet at the Raynham Middle School's Joseph A. Betancourt Auditorium in said Raynham on Monday the 18th day of May at 7 o'clock in the evening. Then and there to act on the following articles. And there are, I believe 30. And you are directed to serve this warrant by posting up attested copies thereof at the 6 places directed by vote of the town in said town 7 days before the time of holding said meeting. Hereof fail not, and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of meeting as aforesaid, given under our hands this 14th day of April in the year of our Lord 2015. Signed by the Board of Selectmen Richard Chavo, Marie Smith, Joseph Pacheco. A true copy and attestation by James Donovan Constable, dated April 14th, 2015. Pursuant to the within warrant, I have notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of Raynham by posting up attested copies of the same at 6 places directed by vote of the town 7 days before the date of the meeting, as within directed. Signed, James Donovan, Constable of Raynham. If you could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would ask the town meeting for unanimous consent that visitors and non-voters be allowed to speak should an article pertain to them specifically or their department or commission or committee. Do I have any objection to visitors speaking and addressing town meeting? Seeing none, it is so granted. Welcome, everybody, to the annual town meeting. My name is John Donahue. I am your town moderator. I am joined up on the stage here by our Board of Selectmen, Chair Marie Smith, Joseph Pacheco, Karen Roberts. To my left, your right, we've got Town Council Ted Pietnick, Town Clerk Marcia Sylvia, our Finance Committee, Gil Aligi Chair, Ted Sargent, Jim Ross, and Michael King. And while I am introducing our Finance Committee, you will note that there are 4, and that the committee is, by bylaw, supposed to be 7. We've had a couple of recent resignations, and Ms. Roberts vacated her position on the Finance Committee to, as the Finance Committee would say, take a lesser position on the Board of Selectmen. As the Board of Selectmen would say, she ascended to the seat. So we'll let the voters decide who's correct on that one. So in short, we're in dire need of some help and assistance on our Finance Committee. It's a wonderful way to be involved in town government. It's extremely educational from a municipal finance perspective, and I don't, in my personal opinion, there's no better way to learn the ins and outs in the comings and goings of town and municipal government than to start at the Finance Committee. So, if anybody out here, you are the most active people in town. If any of you have ever been so inclined to maybe step forward and serve in a more formal capacity, this would be the time. And Marie, I believe that the way to go about that is simply to contact the Board of Selectmen via letter or email. Either way, they're all active on email, I can tell you that. That would be great. We would love to fill that board as we get into fiscal year 2016. We do have some distinguished visitors here tonight. I see Dr. Forbes from the school committee is here. In walking and passing, I did see a number of different commission members, committee members, department heads, of course. So we're all out in force. We're here to answer questions on the warrant that you may have. We're also joined tonight by our state representative, Angela D'Amelia, representing Raynham in the 8th Plymouth District. And as is custom, I would offer the microphone to Angela if you would like to say a few words to the town meeting. Obviously doesn't have to, but we always like to hear from our representatives. take the podium, Langelo. You're slightly larger than I am.
I'm working on that, Mr. Moderator, constantly. But thank you for the opportunity. I'll make this extremely quick. I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. It's great to be here. We have concluded the House's portion of the budget cycle. Now the Senate takes up the budget as we speak. I was pleased that we were able to increase local aid, Chapter 70 and unrestricted local aid, over what was presented by the Governor House 1. So that went extremely well. I was also able to offer an amendment which was accepted to increase funding for Bristol County Mosquito Control Project. We all know here in Raynham what an important issue that is. So I was pleased that I was able to do that. And I was on their website. I urge everybody to look at their website and take advantage of the opportunity to have their yards sprayed. It actually begun today, May 18th, 2015. You can put requests in to have your property looked at and sprayed. So with that, I want to take the quick opportunity to congratulate our newest select woman. Congratulations, and congratulations to the rest of the board and the rest of the finance members. And with that, I will let you continue with the business of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative, and thanks for coming by. Congressman Lynch, is at least since Raynham has joined his district, has been an annual participant. The House of Representatives is in session today, and therefore, if you know Representative Lynch, you know he doesn't miss a vote, so he is down in D.C. and sends his regards. I think we'll start with a statement from the Finance Committee.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. The Finance Committee would like to express its thanks to all the department managers, the Board of Selectmen, the Town Administrator, and the Town Accountant for once again complying with our request to submit individual budgets with less than a 2% increase in expenditures, plus any negotiated increases in salaries and wages. The Finance Committee recommended a total budget, which consists of department operating budgets, special articles, and other expenditures of $37.9 million for the fiscal year 2016, which is a $1.4 million or 3.8% increase over last fiscal year. As is typical, the two largest budgets are for education, which is about 51% of the budget, and public safety, which is 21%. We expect revenues to exceed expenditures this year, so the Finance Committee recommended adding $150,000 to the general stabilization account as another step toward our goal of being at 5% of the total budget. After the contribution tonight, the stabilization balance will be about $1.49 million, or about 3.9% of our budget. Finance Committee also expects available certified free cash to fund capital items at the special town meeting in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. I neglected to recognize our school committee. 3 of our members are here today, that at least I can see. Pat Riley, Sue Premondowski, and I think I saw Tony Gelfi, didn't I? There he is. And is Lorraine here? No? So thank you all for coming as well. And we're going to start the evening with our annual tradition of awarding Citizen of the Year Award. For that, I turn it over to Joe Pacheco.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you all for coming. We actually have 2 awards this evening. The first one is a surprise award, and I'm going to start with that one because that's a bio that I don't have to cheat and read a little bit. It's for a great friend of mine, a great friend of the community, the town of Raynham, and most importantly, the students of the town of Raynham. It's to Superintendent Richard Gross. He's not happy. As many of you know, I am a graduate of BP, and I always talk about how proud I am to have been a graduate of BP. When it first opened up, people like my father weren't allowed to go there because of the stigma associated with it. And I like to think myself and a lot of us have done very well, especially because of people like Dr. Gross. And at the end of this year, he's going to be retiring after a long and distinguished career. And BP being in Taunton, It might not have always got the attention here in Raynham it deserved, but Dr. Gross, when he took over as superintendent, and I was actually on the committee that hired him as principal, he made sure that every community in the BP school district had an equal voice and equal say. And the town of Raynham, in my opinion, is a better community for Dr. Gross's contributions and the product BP produces year after year. So Dr. Gross, on behalf of the people of Raynham, we say thank you, we wish you well, and Randy sprung for a plaque for you. He gave me my diploma, and I gave him an award. Now we're halfway even. The next award is the Albert F. Porter Citizen of the Year Award. And people like Don McKinnon, when he was up here, was able to speak more in depth as to the significance of the Albert Porter Award. But Mr. Porter was a longtime selectman here in Raynham, and this award was meant to signify the outstanding and exceptional contributions of a citizen at large. And we've had some real good people receive this award over the years, most recently people like Bill Nickerson, who all of us are familiar with. And this year, I think we have another exceptional person, and that's Joanne Peterson. Joanne Peterson is the founder and executive director of Learn to Cope, which started in 2014. Joanne is a resident of Raynham and has been here for quite some time. She's also a parent of a child who's in long-term recovery from opiate addiction, which began with Oxycontin. Learn to Cope, a nonprofit, is in its 11th year in a unique solutions-based support advocacy, educational peer lead organization for family members of those addicted to opiates and other drugs. The board decided to pick Joanne this year, in part because of her long-term significant contributions, but also in part because, as we all know, the opiate crisis has been just that, a crisis, not just in this area, but in Massachusetts. There's one particular thing I want to emphasize about Joanne's bio, and that is, to date, I believe as recently as this week, Learn to Cope has saved over 30 members' lives since it became in existence. Now, to quantify that, that's bigger than most of our families. And I think that's a significant contribution. And to have somebody who created an organization that has a national profile live here in the town of Raynham, I think is exceptional. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Joanne Peterson.
Thank you so much, Joe. This really means a lot to me and to everybody here. And I know it's a little bit of a difficult thing to talk about, but we started in 2004, and we've been in existence 11 years. And I'm happy to say that our family is doing okay today. My youngest is in his 3rd year of college. I'm very proud of him for that. My middle child, my daughter, is doing pretty good. She's living in another town now. And my oldest son is on his 10th year of recovery and just purchased his first home and has a wife and 2 children now. And I'm actually nervous speaking in my own town. I'm used to doing that in a lot of other places. I'm leaving for Washington, D.C. in the morning to go to the White House on Wednesday. And we're working with the ONDCP, which is the Office of National Drug Control Policy, on getting more prevention and awareness in the schools to help parents get the education they need on the drugs that are out there that can be a danger to their children. So I thank you very much, and I accept this very humbly and with a whole heart, and I thank all of you here for having me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you to the 2 honorees. Thanks for coming, and congratulations. Just a few rules of the road here. Everybody knows these, so I'll go through them fairly quickly. If you do have comments to make or questions to ask here tonight, you'll see 2 microphones, 1 in each aisle. All I would ask is that you please step up, speak into the microphone, state your name and address for the record, so our town clerk can keep accurate records of the proceedings tonight. If you don't think you can make it to the microphone, although the rows aren't too full tonight, just get my attention. Just, holler out. If I'm looking down reading, I might miss you, and I certainly don't want to do that. And I do tend to move quickly, and that's not because I have anywhere to go tonight. It's because I want to make sure that you all get home at a reasonable hour. We do our business, and we do it effectively, efficiently, and we call it a night. If and when you do rise to speak, I would ask simply that you keep your comments focused on the article that we are discussing. Try to keep it within the 4 corners of the article, if you would. Direct any comments through the chair, and specifically not to any other town meeting participant. That's just the rules of the road of town meeting. In the event that we do have a roll call vote, which you never know, but I remembered my handy clicker tonight, so all I would ask is that if we do get to a roll call and I have to come down off the stage, that you are in a seat when I get to your section. So I'll move left to right, this section, and then this section over here. But I do need you in the seat if you're going to have your vote counted, with the exception of our officer, our detail officer, who can certainly maintain her position in the back of the room there. Sergeant LaPlante still hasn't forgiven me for a couple of years ago asking him to find a seat, so we're not going to run afoul of our detail officer again. And cell phones, obviously, cell phones in silent or vibrate mode, if you could. I do intend to use that's it for the ground rules. 2 more things that we need to talk about. I do intend to use the consent agenda this evening, so we will take Articles 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as one vote. I will read a brief description of each. We'll circle back. If you have any questions at all, the slightest question, smallest question, no question too small, on any of those articles, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, just raise your hand, just get my attention. We'll remove it from the consent agenda, and we'll go back and treat it as an independent article. This is just again, an inefficiency that is available to the town moderator to make things go a little bit quicker. And secondly, the budget, Article 3, when we get to that, use the same process that we have always used here in Raynham. I will read in the back of your books. There's an explanation, or not an explanation, but a line item detail of the budget. I will read each line item, and I will pause briefly after I read the amount. It is the far right column that I'll be reading, the fiscal year 2016 recommendation. I'll read the number, I'll pause. If you have a question or a concern, you just need to yell hold. That's it. Just yell hold. I will make a note and I'll continue on. Now, if you yell hold and I don't stop, it's because I will acknowledge you, but we need to continue on, and then we'll come back around to the item with the question. And I understand we will have 1 amendment on a budget line item tonight, so there will be at least 1 hold. So, without further ado, questions on the rules of the road, or questions on the consent agenda or the budget explanation? Great, let's get into it. So for the consent agenda, Article 1 chooses nominates all minor town offices. Article 2 will be a vote to accept the report of town officers. Article 4 is an annual article that raises and appropriates $400 for quarters for the American Legion. Article 5 authorizes the town treasurer, with approval of the selectmen, to borrow money from time to time in anticipation of revenue. Article 6 authorizes the Board of Selectmen to sign contracts on behalf of the town of Raynham. And Article 7 votes to authorize the Board of Selectmen to accept and enter into contracts for the expenditure of any funds allocated or to be allocated by the Commonwealth and or county for construction, reconstruction, and improvements to the town infrastructure. And that is Chapter 70? Yeah. 70? I think so. So those are your consent agenda, Articles 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have a motion and a second to accept Articles 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Discussion on any of those articles or discussion on the motion to approve them? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The consent agenda carries. All right, folks, the budget. If I miss a line item, if anybody's following along, just yell at me, please. It's happened before. If a number I read doesn't agree with the number in the book, yell at me, please. Don't stand on ceremony here tonight. We want to get this right. Article 3, to raise such sums of money as may be necessary to defray town charges and make appropriations for same or take any action relative thereto. Motion made and seconded to accept Article 3 as printed. Again, this is the budget, and here is the detail. Moderator, $1,000. Selectmen, $214,227. Finance Committee, $6,260. Reserve Fund, $75,000. Town Accountant, $80,396. Audit, $15,000. Assessor, $137,804. Town Treasurer Collector, $227,786. Capital Planning Expenses, $5,000. Town Council Expense, $78,000. Data Processing MIS, $102,240. Tax Title, $26,000. Town Clerk, $139,396. Primaries and Elections, $22,445. Census and Street Listings, $5,300. Conservation Commission, $53,609. Town Planner, $81,714. Planning Board, $53,557. Zoning Appeals, $9,116. Economic Business Development, $2,000. Serped, $2,272. Public Buildings and Property Maintenance, $121,720. Property Insurance, $72,000. Town Reports, $4,386. Police Department, yeah, right. Stay upright, Chief Donovan. $4,366,626. Fire Department, $2,550,096. Building Department, $143,622. Plumbing and Gas, $28,534. Weights and Measures, $13,387. Electrical, $27,208. Animal Inspection, $4,156. Emergency Management, $7,945. Animal Control Officer, $31,374. Forestry, $58,868. Bridgewater Raynham Regional School District, $16,089,634. We have a hold on line item 300. Thank you, ladies. Bristol Plymouth Vocational, $1,596,430. Bristol County Agricultural High School, $23,000. Engineering expense, $7,000. Highway Parks and Grounds, $1,180,664. Snow and Ice, $50,000. Street lighting, $32,500. Solid waste disposal, $341,427. Water distribution, hydrant rental, $10,000. Cemetery, $154,958. Board of Health, $116,527. Council on Aging, $97,357. Veteran Services, $143,338. Library, $338,534. Recreation, $165,600. Historical Commission, $1,000. Memorial and Armistice Day, $1,200. Retirement of debt, $1,517,330. Interest on long-term debt, $520,259. Interest on short-term debt, $7,000. Retirement and pension contributions, $1,601,469. Workers' compensation, $130,000. Unemployment compensation, $20,000. Health insurance, $1,716,000. Life insurance, $2,750. Medicare, $128,000. Southeastern Regional, $4,100. Liability insurance, $51,700. For a bottom line, excluding items with their own article, $34,815,821. Pause for 1 second. Hold on. Pat, I appreciate you. Perfect. Ready when you are.
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I'd like to propose an amendment to budgetary line 300 for the Bridgewater Raynham Regional School District assessment. The account line is listed on the budget recommendation as $16,089,634. We respectfully request to amend that figure to $15,895,393.
Can I get a second on that? Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend line item 300 of the budget from 16,089,634 down to 15,895,393, which I believe is a reduction of $194,241. Is that correct, gentlemen? Thus also reducing the overall non-article line item for total budget to $34,621,580. Is that also correct, gentlemen? Okay, so discussion on the motion to amend line item 300. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to amend line item 300, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Line item 300 is amended. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 3, the budget, as amended. Discussion on the budget in general as amended. I'm just going to pause 1 second here and make sure we did this. Good, Madam Clerk, we good? We got everything we need? Finance Committee, we're good? Very good. Discussion on Article 3, the budget as amended. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 3 as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 3 passes unanimously. We have a budget, folks. Thank you very much for your patience on that one. Article 8. To see if the town will vote to authorize an offset receipts account under Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E, to fund the operation of the before and after school daycare run by the Parks and Recreation Department, and to authorize expenditures of $216,000 during fiscal year 16 as follows, and you see that they are itemized. Yep. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 8. Discussion on Article 8. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 8 passes. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, for the purpose of receiving and expending funds as a result of reimbursable incidents allowed under Mass General Laws, Chapter 21E, involving hazardous materials releases. Receipts generated shall be deposited into this revolving fund, and expenditures not to exceed $100,000 may be expended by the fire chief without further appropriation or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 9 as printed. Discussion on Article 9. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 9, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 9 passes. Article 10. See if the town will vote to reauthorize the fire alarm revolving fund under Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, for the purpose of receiving and expending funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, and to transfer to this account the balance as of June 30, 2015, from the existing revolving account. Receipts generated from fire alarm permits, inspections, and details shall be deposited into this revolving fund, and expenditures including but not limited to vehicle maintenance, detailed pay, overtime coverage for replacement of fire inspector, all equipment related to radio control boxes not to exceed $60,000 may be expended by fire chief without further appropriation or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 10. Discussion on Article 10. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 10 passes. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund under Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, that may be spent by the Council on Aging and to be known as the Council on Aging Activities Revolving Fund. The Council on Aging Activities Revolving Fund is to be credited with all fees and charges received in association with programs and activities of which a user fee is charged. The amount of this revolving fund is to be limited to $15,000 per fiscal year or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 11 as printed. Discussion on Article 11. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 11 passes. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, for the purpose of receiving and expending funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, for the operation and maintenance of South School. Receipts generated shall be deposited into this revolving fund, and expenditures not to exceed $15,000 may be expended by the Board of Selectmen without further appropriation or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 12. Discussion on Article 12. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 12 passes. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to transfer $277,604 as detailed below from the ambulance receipts account to operate the ambulance service for the first half of fiscal year 2016. Any monies not used to be returned to the ambulance receipts account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 13. Discussion on Article 13. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 13, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 13 passes. Article 14. See if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $2,485,732 as categorized to operate. And it goes into great detail recommending the following sums be appropriated to operate the sewer enterprise. I will not read them individually. It is a detailed article, and I believe we have an amendment forthcoming, but let's get it on the floor first. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 14. Discussion on Article 14.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luciano.
Good evening. Gordon Luciano, Chairman of the Sewer Commission. I have an amendment to offer on the floor based on a majority vote of the Sewer Commission to make the following recommendation on the amendment. It would read, to amend the sum in the first line of the article, which reads sum of $2,485,732 as categorized to operate, to read, and this is the amendment, the sum of $2,485,553 as categorized to operate the sewer enterprise. And also to amend the bottom line of the line items, which read total $2,485,732 to read total $2,485,553. Next, and that the language in the paragraph below the above total sum that reads, and that $1,740,000 be raised from sewer enterprise revenues, $163,488 from sewer retained earnings, to be replaced by the following language, and that $1,903,488 be raised from sewer enterprise revenues. Also, in the last paragraph located in the supplemental information note, it's on the next page, the language that reads, and that $1,740,000 be raised from sewer enterprise revenues, $163,488 from sewer retained earnings, be replaced by the following language, and that $1,903,488 be raised from sewer enterprise revenues.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend Article 14. There's a lot here, Mr. Luciano, so I'm just going to open it to the floor for discussion before I rehash it all.
Three parts.
Yep.
The first part is a mathematical correction where we changed the $2,485,732 to $2,485,553, and also an omission of the words the sewer enterprise at the end of that, which we had to add as to what's the money for. The second part is the belief that from the majority of the Sewer Commission that we should get away from using retained earnings for general operations of the sewer department, and that it mirrors the philosophy of the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen for many years, going back to my days with the Finance Committee with my tutors like Ted Sargent, who's up there, and many others, that you should not fund your regular yearly operations from anything other than the revenues that come in and are available that year. Similar with the Sewer Commission, we should not be funding regular operations from our retained earnings, which could be one-time funds in one particular year and not available in the next year. Similar to why the town does not fund their operation budget out of stabilization of free cash. Those are monies that you cannot rely on year to year, but your general operating revenues you can. So you build your budget around that so the following year you have sufficient funds to continue to fund the operations. Retained earnings should be used for primarily capital planning account that I hope to work with the fellow commissioners on putting together this summer and fall. Also for emergency expenditures, unforeseen emergency expenditures that may happen, for example, with our equipment or pump station, etc. That's the primary reason we should hold on to retained earnings. Once retained earnings are certified in the fall by the Department of Revenue, any money above that in retained earnings, it behooves the Commission to have a discussion as to what direction we want to use that money for, whether it's rate relief, whether it's betterment relief, if that's allowed by law. But clearly, the majority of the Commission believes it should not be used for the regular yearly operational budget. Thank you.
Questions or comments on Article 14, Mr. Shavo?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I am going to recommend to the people that are here, the residents, that we not approve or accept, I should say, the second part of the amendment, not the first part, which were mathematical corrections, but the part that takes the $163,000 that was originally to be taken out of retained earnings, and the amendment, as just discussed, would be to take that out of the operating budget. And the reason I say that is because what that amendment in effect will do will cause one or several sewer rate increases. And I don't think we need to do that at this point, and I'll tell you why. The retained earnings account in the sewer enterprise account, that is almost $1.5 million. And the retained earnings account in the sewer department is equivalent to the stabilization account for the town. And just to give you some perspective, the stabilization account for the entire town is $1.5 million. So when you think about the fact that the sewer enterprise has approaching $1.5 million retained earnings, you have to ask, why was it that the board, as previously constituted, was able, through conservative fiscal management, to build that retained earnings account up to that point that it's at now? And the reason is very simple. It's for asset management, which is the maintenance and the servicing of our equipment, our pump stations, and it was also always intended to be used for rate relief. Now, we all know that rates are going to increase from time to time. That's inevitable. But there's no particular reason to increase those rates right now. I know that the demographics in town are changing. We all know that. But there's still many people in this town that do not need to have an unnecessary rate increase. So I'm suggesting that we beg off of a rate increase right now, and we take our time and look at what our future expenses are, and we can work with that because we have the retained earnings to give us that kind of flexibility. So I'm suggesting you not accept the amendment to take that 163 out of the operating expenses, which would in effect require at least one or several rate increases. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luciano.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. If I may touch upon the issue of rate increases, we did do some rough numbers, and once the retained earnings are certified by the Department of Revenue, if there is a required rate increase to make up the difference, we will go approximately what this current year is $264 a year to $276 a year. You get billed bi-yearly every 6 months. We would be looking at a sewer user rate bill of $138 for 6 months. That would be the maximum increase we may need, not multiple increases. One increase that we may need once we have the certified number from the Department of Revenue. 264 to 276 to continue with the philosophy of operations being funded by user rates. And also, as I mentioned, once that dollar number is certified, if there is money that does not need to continue to stay in that account, the Commission is committed to discussing how and what is the best methodology of getting that back to the town's users. Whether it, as I said before, rate relief, betterment relief, but to continue with an amount of money in surplus beyond what is the average norm for this type of operating budget. We can't compare with the town $37 million operating budget. We're talking a $2,500,000 budget. So I would urge and recommend support for this article. Thank you.
Further discussion on the motion to amend Article 14. So whereas we have opposing viewpoints on just some of the amendment, the proposed amendment, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to allow the amendment to stand on its own. We will vote the entire amendment as proposed by Mr. Luciano. If the amendment fails, We can always come back around and do the housekeeping that we need to do. We know we need to adjust the mathematical error, and we know we need to insert the word sewer enterprise. So if the amendment, as proposed by Mr. Luciano, fails, we'll come back around and correct it. So a yay vote here will mean that the town meeting supports Mr. Luciano's amendment. A no vote would be that you agree with the counter argument that we should not be not taking money from sewer retained earnings. So just don't want any confusion. I probably just confused it more than I needed to, didn't I? So I just don't want anybody worrying that that voting this amendment down would affect the correction of the mathematical error nor the insertion of the words sewer enterprise. We'll come back around and do that again. That being said, if we pass the amendment as proposed, then Article 14 is ticked and tied up, and we move on. So further discussion on the motion to amend Article 14. Seeing none. All in favor of the motion to amend Article 14, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 14 is amended. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 14 as amended. Discussion on Article 14 as amended. So now we would be speaking about the entire article as printed and amended. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 14 as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 14 passes as amended. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,331,868 for the purpose of paying the debt service on the outstanding bonds and notes for the Raynham Middle School, the renovation projects for the Liberty Elementary School and the Merrill School, and for the new regional high school to take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 15 as printed. Discussion on Article 15. I think the town administrator and I have agreed that we will remove the word new next year as it's no longer new. Discussion on Article 15? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 15, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 15 passes. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the purpose of providing professional services, land acquisition, materials, and construction contract obligations in order to make improvements to town infrastructure or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 16. Discussion on Article 16. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 16, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 16 passes. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,500 for the Employee Health Insurance Mitigation Fund or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 17. Discussion on Article 17. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 17, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 17 passes. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the Sewer Stabilization Fund, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 18. Discussion on Article 18. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 18, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 18 passes. Article 19, to see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $30,000 to be combined with money remaining in Article 7 of the May 16, 2011 special town meeting, approximately $80,000, for the renovation and repair of the North School or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 19. Discussion on Article 19. Sir.
Lou Bousquet, 194 Warren Street West. Basically, I was a member of the North School Committee. We were tasked by the Board of Selectmen to look at this school and to see what the best use might be for it. After looking at various things, one of the things that popped up at us was the fact that there's a big shortage of storage at the town hall. And here is a good building. It's pretty solid. It does need some work. It needs heat, air conditioning to be able to store paper, that type of thing. It has great bones. It does need some roof work and like I said, heating and air conditioning. This would cover that. And there are other things that could possibly go in there. Right? Cultural Council is looking for a place to do art exhibits, that kind of thing. That I think the basement could be used for something like that. It's easily accessible because it's on ground level, so you're not looking at the handicapped access that you may be looking if you were trying to use the upstairs. We did some need surveys. We presented our findings to the selectmen and to the finance committee, and they'd agreed with us that it was a viable project. So I just wanted to let people know that that is what this is for. It's nice to save the building. It is a historical building. It was built in 1925. But more importantly, it has a use for the town of Raynham. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. Appreciate that explanation. Further discussion on Article 19. Chair Smith.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of our old buildings. This is one that would end up getting torn down. The building is stable. There is nothing really structurally wrong with it. And you know what? Let's keep it. It's a shame to take any steps to do anything with the building other than preserve it. Down the line, there may be something of more valuable use for it, but at the present time, Town Hall is overflowing with papers that have to be kept, but there's no room for it. Every department has boxes everywhere. We have a beautiful town hall. I'd like to keep it that way. I asked this committee to be formed only because I don't want to see another building torn down. We had a beautiful building at Borden Colony quite a few years ago. That's gone. Look at what we did with Town Hall. We wouldn't have that building today. It was destined to be torn down because everybody figured it was easier to tear it down than to rebuild. Let's not do it to the North School. Thank you.
Further discussions on Article 19. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 19, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 19 passes. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to transfer from bond premiums account the sum of $15,315 for the payment of fiscal year 16 debt service as described below, or take any action relative thereto. And it's laid out for you in the body of the article. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 20. Discussion on Article 20. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 20, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 20 passes. Article 21, to see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $150,000 to the general stabilization account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 21. Discussion on Article 21. Perhaps, Mr. Aligi, I asked you this last Tuesday night, but for the benefit of the town meeting, the current balance of the, if this article passes, and what it represents as on a percentage basis of our annual budget.
If this article passes, the stabilization balance will be $1,490,000, which is approximately 3.9% of our annual budget, and our goal is to get to 5%.
Very good. Thank you for that. Discussion on Article 21. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 21, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 21 passes. Article 22, to see if the town will vote to transfer from the cemetery sales of lots account the sum of $16,500 for the purpose of funding road and infrastructure expansion at the Pleasant Street Cemetery, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 22. Discussion on Article 22. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 22 passes. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to transfer from receipts reserved for appropriation account number 220-650 Borden Colony the amount of $23,550 to the general fund to offset the associated board and colony expenditures of the general operating budget, any unused funds at the end of fiscal year 16 to be returned to the board and colony receipts reserved for appropriation account, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 23. Discussion on Article 23. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 23, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 23 passes. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 towards the cost of establishing a central dispatch center, or take any actions relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 24. Discussion on Article 24. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 24, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 24 passes. Article 25, to see if the town of Raynham will vote to amend the Raynham Conservation General Bylaws, Section 7-1 Regulations, Paragraph F, by deleting the following strike-through language and adding the bolded language, take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 25. Discussion on Article 25. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 25, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 25 passes unanimously. Article 26, to see if the town of Raynham will vote to amend the zoning bylaws by amending Article 3.3, the Flood Hazard Protective Overlay District, by deleting the strike-through language and adding the bold language as follows, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 26. Discussion on Article 26. Mr. Charbonneau?
Good evening, John Charbonneau, Planning Director. At a public hearing held on April 16, 2015, the Planning Board voted 4 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstained to recommend favorable action on Article 26.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion on Article 26? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 26 passes unanimously. Again, these last two articles, folks, are zoning bylaw changes, therefore require a 2/3 vote. And that's why I stipulate unanimously for our town clerk. Article 27, to see if the town of Raynham will vote to amend Article 6.6.9.f, the zoning bylaws, by deleting the existing text and adding the following text, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to dismiss Article 27. Discussion on the motion to dismiss Article 27.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator. This is Bob Iafredi from the Building Department. After Tuesday night's pre-town meeting, it was brought to my attention that temporary signs also are in a definition part of the bylaw, which also needs to be amended. So at this time, I request that it be dismissed and be brought back at another town meeting. Thank you.
Very good, sir. Mr. Charbonneau, do we need a report? I don't think we do. Do we need a report?
No, Mr. Moderator.
Dismissal? No. I just want to be safe. So, further discussion on the motion to dismiss Article 27. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to dismiss Article 27, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 27 is dismissed. Article 28, to see if the town of Raynham will vote to amend the zoning bylaws by deleting Section 7.4.h, registered marijuana dispensary, and insert the deleted text further in Article 7 in the proper alphabetical location consistently with the format of the article as follows, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 28. Discussion on the motion to accept Article 28. Mr. Charbonneau.
Yes, I have a minor amendment to propose, Mr. Moderator.
Minor is in the eye of the beholder, Mr. Charbonneau.
In the first paragraph, it reads, to see if the town of Raynham will vote to amend the zoning bylaws by deleting Section 7.4H, registered marijuana dispensary, to strike the word and so it would read registered marijuana dispensary, inserting the deleted text further in Article 7 in the proper alphabetical location consistently with the format of the article as follows, and add the language after that, and adding the new bold underlined language below, or take any action relative thereto.
Nope. Accept the amendment. Motion has been made and seconded to amend Article 28, and to recap, we are striking the word and after the word dispensary, elongating the word insert into inserting, and adding the language after the word follows, and adding the new bold underlined language below. So essentially, what this article is achieving is relocating it within the bylaw, but also bringing to the attention of the town meeting where you see in subsection 2 the bold underlined language. We're simply bringing to the attention of the town meeting within the motion that that language exists. Report of the planning board.
At a public hearing held on April 16, 2015, the planning board voted 4 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstained to recommend favorable action on Article 28 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Charbonneau. Further, discussion on the motion to amend Article 28. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to amend Article 28, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 28 is amended. Murray? Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 28 as amended. Discussion on Article 28 as amended. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 28 as amended, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 28 passes unanimously. Article 29, to see if the town will vote to accept as a gift a parcel of land with the buildings thereon, including an existing pump station building shown as proposed Lot A on a plan entitled Plan of Land for Walmart Real Estate Business Trust, 160 Broadway. And as you can see, the locus of the property is spelled out within the article, or take any action relative thereto. One more thing. Such acceptance being subject to conveyance and fee of said parcel by the owners at no cost to the town to take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 29. Discussion on Article 29. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 29, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 29 passes. And finally, Article 30, to see if the town will vote to accept as a gift an easement over a parcel of land as described in a grant of easement from Louise M. Murby to the town of Raynham, dated 8/1/2014, and recorded with the Bristol County North District Registry of Deeds and Book 21,818, page 94, which easement provides access to a sewer pumping station to be conveyed to the town or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 30. Discussion on Article 30. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 30 passes. We are done, Madam Chair. I'd just like to perhaps ask the department heads and Board of Selectmen to bring some more controversial articles to, it's getting a little tedious up here. Motion has been made and seconded to dissolve the annual town meeting. Discussion on the motion to dissolve. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Annual town meeting is dissolved. Thank you, people.